Hello there. It's Dean Kinzer with from Kinzer Coins and also the Ancient Coin Hour and my obvious daytime job and all of those other good things. I am continuing on in kind of our my little 20-minute adverts on kind of how to start a coin business and what I've figured out would be successful in doing that. And while I was at the coin show on Saturday, I did make a little short about the importance of local shows. Obviously, there's a lot of interaction that you can do, and most of you guys already know that. But not everybody thinks about that as a part of their overall strategy. And so there's great avenues in which to kind of represent yourself, but also the ancient coin community when you interact with not only ancient coin dealers, but, American collectors or world money collectors. And, you'll find that more often than not, there's a lot of crossover. Usually somebody has something or knows somebody with something and all that kind of stuff. And to me, all roads kind of lead home on that. If I can help you out in one way, and a lot of people ask me for help, finding coins that don't have anything to do with ancients, and I'm happy to help. But if the end game is the goal is one, expand somebody's mind into the possibility of ancient coin collecting, and then two, potentially building a customer base. And those are really the best parts of it. So that's kind of why I covered that. I think that's important, but I want to continue our group with that in mind. So this would be, I guess, episode 4 or the 4th episode. And really the focus of this is how do I, now that I know what I want my business to be, what I can sell in the marketplace, what I think, at least given the current marketplace, how do I ensure my goods, all of that kind of stuff. We've kind of walked through that, why it's important to register your business and, for tax purposes and then liability. And so now we have a kind of a business plan. And so the next kind of step is, how do I get that message out to most people? There's a lot of ways you can do that. So I would say that I have focused heavily on web-based. I don't have a brick and mortar shop. And, at this point, I'm not sure, other than if you run a large enterprise, I'm not sure, an ancient coin dealership in Springfield, Missouri is going to garner enough foot traffic to pay for the expense of the shop and the operating expenses, or the fact you have to be open or potentially have somebody else if you're by yourself. Just a lot of expense that right now I don't see a good turnout on, but hopefully in the future, I would love to have a brick and mortar. So anyway, how do I take Dean Kinzer, Springfield, Missouri, and how do I get that information to the market? Well, first, when we're thinking about advertising, and there's schools and lessons and training about that, what is your goal? Now, it can be sell, grow top line, sell as many ancient coins as possible, make the biggest profit possible. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it is, we do have that kind of marketplace where people who really want to succeed can be really successful. So there's that opportunity. It's capitalism at its best. But who are you trying to reach? And so I don't really have your side of that. So I will talk to you about primarily what my plan is, what my thoughts are. If this doesn't apply to you, or that doesn't feel right, and I'll give counter arguments to that. But really my strategy is, and I think in talking to most people that are in this business, the strategy is growth, and not necessarily from a financial standpoint. I think that's a secondary benefit of, the first being growth. But I'm not necessarily talking about growth of sales with existing customers, or growth of sales within a certain demographic, or people that live in the Springfield area. I want to share this with as many people as possible, because, as somebody who has lived most of his life in the Midwest, but have traveled the world, have seen other things, spent time in the Middle East, kind of understands a little bit about the world, as much as I can. My thought continues to be that to this day, that this is one of the coolest things you can be a part of. And my strategy, my thought process is, how can I share that with the most amount of people? Because I feel like, and I see it, I saw it at the show on Saturday, I see it pretty regularly. I see this, this light, this joy that comes from people when they get to hold a coin of Constantine the Great, and they're blown away when it only costs, $20 or whatever. It's really something magical. But beyond the magic of it is history, a love for history. I'm going to tell you that I love history more than so many things. And I just love to teach about it, or I love to talk about it. I mean, a lot of times I'll have somebody talk to me about a coin, whether they want the specifics, and I'll go into the history of it, whether they ask for it or not. And sometimes they're like, I was just asking about this coin in specific, but more often than not, they're eating it up. They're soaking it up. It's really exciting for them. And, of course, a lot of that happens in person, but you can get that in the mail the same way, get excited about it. So from my perspective, how do I get this hobby as big as possible, which I think benefits us all in numerous ways. One, with a attention to history, but not just an attention to history in certain areas, an attention to history in all areas. That there's so much that we still don't know. I mean, I think back to our podcast with Robert Hoppenstadt, who is a Coin Group member with ours, and he brought up a point that really, I don't know, was kind of an awakening or something to me about provincial coins, was that in a lot of cases, some of the representation of this stuff is purely represented on coins. And so the history of certain types of people that grew up or that were around 2,000 years ago is really told on a coin. And it's like a way of them communicating from the past to you. Say, hey, I exist. What else can you find out about me? I mean, think about, how many civilizations there have been, and we have tangible evidence of them in coins. So my goal, my drive in this business of Kinzer Coins is not necessarily I need to be anything. I just want to take what I've got, which is a love, and I want to broadcast it to the most amount of people. So I use a strategy, internet-based primarily, to try to find, people that maybe have no understanding of ancient coins or know that they can be collected. Because as somebody who's been around in this area for a long time, I didn't know. And if I had known, I probably would have collected a lot sooner. And so I think there's a lot of people like me, a lot of women, a lot of kids, a lot of, everyone can really find interesting. So that's really the goal. So I am using my platform, which, obviously I've invested a lot of money. Nobody's sponsoring me. I am throwing my money out there, hoping to reel. So a lot of my advertising is focused on, do you believe this? Or can you believe this? Or it's just the coin, something that grabs your eyes as you're scrolling through, stops you, and then click, how do I find out more? Then I hope that once we get to click, that the story kind of tells itself and we kind of create a program around it. How can people get connected to the right people to get them interested in ancient coins? So we have a podcast. We talk about how you can learn. We have a website with a lot of links to places that we think are important. We share from time to time what we use on our platforms to find coins. That's the goal. And so we're casting the widest net possible and hoping to bring some people new to the hobby, while also being very respectful and thoughtful of the people who have been involved in this hobby for years and years and years, and using their, kind of knowledge to spread, to just the people that work for the corporations or that are very successful within that, but also the collector, but also the smaller dealer. Try to get their take. So that's the design. So we'll use that kind of as a baseline. How do I cast the biggest net to capture people? Well, so my advice to you, and I hope that from seeing that that how I post on social media, you'll see what my kind of drive is. So yes, I have lots of videos of coins, but I also invest in ways to kind of make the coin the part of the story so that there's not just a picture of a coin, but what tells that story along with it, hoping that, the right person sees this piece of history and they attach themselves to it. And so that's the design behind that. And so you can have a different strategy. A certain group of collectors are very interested in this. I'm going to show you this, and that'll work great. Definitely do that. But this is just kind of my point. So that's how I look to present. A lot of times I'll just, hey, I got a beautiful coin. I got to show you. I don't care about any of the talking points or whatever. And then sometimes I have a coin that's so beautiful that I want to make, have somebody professionally make it, like Leo Barros, and make an incredible video about it, because it's worth that level of, talking about. And I talk about that with people when they come to the show and, all that kind of stuff. But anyway, so how knowing that kind of strategy, what social media site is best for what? Okay. So I'm just going to go off of my experience. Each one has, advantages and disadvantages. You just kind of understand what your strategy as a business person should be within those. So the first thing that I recommend you doing, if you are, serious about investing and you do get a license and all of that kind of stuff, you do get a small business loan, something like that, you're very serious about it, consider doing professional accounts on them. There are different, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but, Instagram, TikTok, all of them have different kind of, there's a creator, just a regular person, there's business, all kinds. Each one has its own kind of rhythm to it. But I find that having a professional account goes in line with kind of my professional website. And it gives people some level of comfort because, again, not only are we selling the history, but we also have to be mindful of the fears in the marketplace. And so that fear is that they're going from somebody that's not trusted, right? So they don't know you. They saw an ad, maybe they saw you had some followers and maybe that's respectable or whatever, but they still got to trust that you are, not selling them junk, not selling them forgeries or lying to them. So being verified helps with that. At least insofar as that you're a professional business. And if you scam them, you will be removed from the marketplace. So consider that. And then also consider when you do that, when you do go to a professional services side, and I'll speak to my knowledge on Instagram because that's really where I spend most of my time. So the professional services account also gives you the ability to sell within the TikTok or the Instagram group. So they have a marketplace. You can post all of your coins. And hey, guys, if you have a website, did you know that you could EDI transfer that information from your website to Facebook and Instagram, the whole meta thing, so that once you post or you change what you have in your website, it'll flash to Facebook, Instagram, and all those marketplaces, and it'll change them to the new update, the new price, whether they're there or not. If you add one, it'll come. So anyway, something to think about. So there's a lot of different aspects of being in, the professional side that are positive. There are definitely some negatives. One of the things that people love to do is, they like to tag a song to their video. You will not be, as a business, not allowed to use a singer's song based on, you're a professional, but you're using an advertising. So you're not going to be able to use, the Beatles or something like that. They're going to restrict your access to that. So if you're not a professional account, you can't. So, so in that turn, you'll lose that. And there's other aspects of it. People will see you are a business. People will see that you're in this to make money. So they'll understand that right away, but that's the goal, right? So what have I learned in my time on Instagram? And I'll definitely go into more detail on each of these in my experiences with that. I'm just going high level here because we're already 15 minutes in, and sorry, I lost it. And I have not really talked too much about these sites themselves. So, but we'll do a kind of a high level what's good, what's bad. So Instagram. So we have a professional sales group. You can be verified with your business license, and that verified applies to the 3 accounts, the Facebook, uh, Instagram, and Threads, the third, which is kind of Mark Zuckerberg's answer to X or Twitter. So those will automatically connect. There is a professional platform in which Meta users, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, can schedule ads, can schedule posts, can schedule videos. There are a number of different types of different options for that, but Facebook Meta itself has an outlet with doing that. So in terms of Instagram specific, Instagram is a place where you can sell coins. A lot of people post it in their stories. A lot of times they'll flash sale coins in your stories. And so you'll be able to flash through and say, boom, 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 $75, I'll take it, whatever. People have success with that. I would say that in terms of a lasting ad, that is not a good avenue. It only lasts 24 hours. As soon as somebody clicks on it, they can just as click away, and it kind of disappears into the ether, and you're not going to see it again. So it's a good way to do like short-term flash sales. All you need is a picture, maybe a link to your website. Oh, and that's one other thing about stories. So, or stories are the person's little face that's going across. You can click on their face and they'll bring up the little stories of kind of the short form of Instagram, a 24 hour picture that you share with everybody. People use it so you don't have to have 1,000 pictures on your page. You can have, 10 and then a bunch in your stories and stuff. But that, in terms of a strategy, while great for linking people to what you want them to see in the short term, not a good long-term kind of, because once you post it, it goes away. So you will have to keep upkeep on the stories. So we talk about stories. Again, a lot of people have success selling on that. Definitely give it a shot. Now you have to have a follower base that is willing to buy in that kind of area of Instagram. There are people that have that, but that's just one avenue. Okay. The second, when you post, what do you post? Well, so Instagram is kind of set up in 2 different ways, right? You have the standard post, well, 3, the stories, the posts, and then the reels, right? Posts are sometimes reels, but not always reels. Posts are good for pictures, and that's what we love about ancient coins. So you can flip through a longer post and turn pictures left to right. You can tell a story in words, and it's a huge word limit. You can put all your hashtags in. You can try to connect to audiences. There's a lot of storytelling in that. You can tag people. You can bring them into that conversation. You can obviously have, comments and questions and all that kind of stuff interaction-wise in that area. My most successful ads or my most successful posts have not been posts. They've been reels that are also posts. So to me, as an Instagram user, I use more posts when I'm scrolling, looking for somebody's picture that I like or something like that. The reels portion is, let's call it TikTok of Instagram. It's the same thing. It's short videos. And I think what the world is finding out is that we don't like, or we're learning that we like videos at a 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, 10 minute clip. Depending on how we're looking at them, we're learning that that's what people consume the most of. That's why TikTok is the most popular app. And YouTube has transitioned to have shorts and then monetize those shorts and make those a real serious thing. And they've even extended the length of shorts so that they're, comparable, because 1 minute isn't enough. They're finding out that 1 minute is not not enough, even at its max. People want 3 minutes, 4 minutes, which makes sense when you think about it, because what is a TV at? What's regular TV run at? A couple minutes, and then you have a commercial. So anyway, that's why I think that's transitioning like that. So my personal preference or my personal advice to you is if you're going to create content and it's in moving form, Reels are probably your best option at this point. They're not as great with the information side, whereas the post, you can see all kind of the information. Reels are not as great on the information side. So you have to be more creative. You have to spend time on the, the creativity, the video portion, the editing, stuff like that to get your point across. But it does tend to go to more people. I can tell you as somebody who, my wife watches Instagram Reels. And, I'm the opposite. It's just a different way of looking at it, but it's kind of the same thing. I have a TikTok account. She doesn't like TikTok, but it's kind of the same premise. So it's just do whatever your preference is, but we can tell you that, or I can tell you from what I've learned is those are an advantage of Reels. So, in terms of those options for you, those are my recommendations. I recommend you get verified. Instagram is a great outlet to share beautiful videos and photos. I like it the best. For some reason it appeals to me. I think I've seen some of the best content on Instagram, and that's why I like it the best. Other people might have other comments. Let's cover Facebook, and then maybe a quick minute on Threads, and then we'll call it. So Facebook, at this point, for me, this is just me talking. I am not a big Facebook fan. I have said, I think that Facebook is great for groups. Whoever came up with the concept of groups for Facebook is an immensely smart person. So to me, Facebook as a user is more about the information, right? How do I communicate with the people that are within the industry or who are members of these trusted groups that know enough about coins? How do I connect with them? How do I, get to meet people? I mean, it's not even just about connections. I mean, I've met some of the best people on the internet through some of my Facebook groups, honestly. And it may sound weird to say that, but this is 2024 and it's not that weird. So Facebook is great for groups. You're not going to have you're not going to have the outlet in which to advertise necessarily within the group unless it's welcome. Each group has its own kind of subset of rules. Some are lenient on stuff like that, but really the point of groups is to communicate, to network, to get to know each other. So that's really the point. So for you to smother them with ads of your coin that's on sale or whatever, to me, it's not my thing. And so I try to stay away from advertising with the group. The only thing that I share to the groups, really, I try is when I get something special. And to me, they're special. So I like to share those with them. And then anytime I have like a podcast release or something like that, because it's really, geared to talk about things. And that's the hope of it. So I have a Kinzer Coins page on Facebook. I interact with it pretty regularly. I think I have something like 5,000 followers. I do not do a lot of business deals through Kinzer Coins page. It just has not happened as of yet. Really, of these two websites, both Facebook and Instagram, while I do have a marketplace on both of them, they are really just leads to the website. And you heard that correctly. They are really just leads to the website for me. So I have all my stuff on Facebook and Instagram marketplaces. I have all of that. It's the most effective way to get people to your website, I have found, is through social media. You can pay the Google gods. You can pay, all kinds of different, organizations that want to help. To me, the best way to get people to your website, where you do your business, where your records are kept, where your dollars are, where your tax reports come from, is your website. So whatever I'm doing there is not necessarily do it on the site itself. It's to bring you to the site. And I can tell you that 70 to 80% of the people that come to my website come from social media. It's organic too. It comes naturally from them. So We talk a little bit about Facebook and Instagram. Just as a everyday human, I just really have not. I post pictures of my family and stuff on Facebook, but as a general rule, I don't spend a lot of time there anymore. Um, I don't know if it's changing or if it's kind of stagnant, but it feels dated. And I'm not saying that because I think it's a bad platform or anything, but in terms of what moves, I really feel like the other social media kind of companies are more movers than Facebook at this point. So something to consider. I could be totally wrong. You can show me 1,000 graphs and say Facebook is the best. You should do that. Well, I want you to give me that feedback because I'm a businessman too, and I'd like to make a lot of money. But I'm telling you from my experience. This is my experience. Kind of recap. One. Okay, so we talked about Facebook and Instagram, but the key is we continue on our path of building a business plan. So now we have the financial structure, we have the what's it called, the legal protections, we have the financial protections through insurance. We're legitimate through the state and the federal, paying taxes. We're doing the right thing. We have a core strategy we want to follow, and how today we talked about how do you get that to the marketplace. And so this will be part one because the other two are worth talking about for different reasons. And I'll go over Threads, TikTok, X, and we'll start talking about website because I believe, and you may disagree or agree, I believe the cornerstone to any successful coin shop, and there's going to be a lot of people that disagree with me on this, is a good, up-to-date website. So with that being said, I hope that leaves you guys with enough to chew on until I make the next episode. My intention is one of the people that I know pretty well from one of the Facebook group, Leo, reached out to me and said, "Hey, would you want to do a Q&A about this?" And I said, "Absolutely, I would." And so I would like to do that. Generally, I do these when I can schedule these in, or I'm away from the office or something like that. But we'll try to get something on the calendar and we can do a Q&A. There's going to be a lot of different ways that we can talk about this. But anyway, when I make the next one, hopefully we'll have some more listeners, and hopefully we can continue to help make you guys successful. But anyway, I appreciate it. Thank you, and we'll see you on the next one.